in Pretoria this afternoon. Sekhukhune United was there.
If you don't have a generator like the one thundering in the background, then your best bet is to wait for government's interventions to reduce the frequency and severity of load shedding. And while it won't be before the end of the year, government believes it's making some headway. Head of Project Management in the Presidency, Rudy Dick, says some energy reforms are already taking shape.
There are two aspects that are going to be quite critical: fixing Eskom, and that's part of the intervention going forward, and ensuring that we try and get as additional megawatts as possible.
Minister in the Presidency, Kumbuzo Njabeni, assures the country that there's no likelihood of a blackout. Sekhukhune United, Eyewitness News in Pretoria.
And health authorities in the northwest say they're working around the clock to track the origin of cholera in the province. The first 2 cases have been confirmed today in the Bojanala district municipality. So far, 24 people have died from the bacterial disease, which has been confined to northern Gauteng and the Free State in recent weeks. Northwest Health Department spokesperson Tebogo Lekwetani.
We are also urging the communities to be aware of the symptoms, particularly vomiting and stomach cramps, and they need to act quickly if they realize that there is a suspicion of cholera.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated thundershowers expected. There'll be highs of between 18 and 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour: the journalism fraternity is mourning the loss of veteran broadcaster Eusebius Makaiza.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I also want to say to the other teams, so-called big teams in the South Africa, the two, the ones that were yellow, the yellow, both of them. We beat them where it mattered most, and we've got 2 cups.
Hey, you sound like a happy customer. We do, man. Thank you so much.
I'm very happy.
I appreciate you, man. The champions are in studio.
#MSW.
Then the Bucks next season we are dethroning Mamelodi Sundowns there. Their dominance has come to an end, and we are clinching the second star ahead of them. This is good. It's going to be a very good competition next season. We are taking the league and the Champions League.
We're taking the what and the what and the what.
#MSW.
Mock Stadium, timeslive.co.za. Firstly, your take on virtual.
I find it very strange. People are walking in supermarkets. The crowds in stadiums have been a crisis in South African football for how long, and it hasn't been addressed.
Yeah.
And I think it goes as far as that when you look at that awards with no crowd.
Robert, I was shocked. I was flabbergasted. I was actually amazed. But I'm shocked that this was the whole deal. It's a shocker of not Marawa.
I was raised in a homogenous working class colored community in Ekhini. We also have that kind of racism. I've heard the most horrific things said about and attitudes displayed towards colored people, white people, Indian people, by black people. And the same goes for white people. The same goes for colored people. I often talk about the racism in my own family, in my own community, and it makes many colored people uncomfortable.
So Eusebius Makaiza joins us now.
The first thing I want to say is that the power of stories is something that you understand. It's the bread and butter of good broadcasting. As journalists, we understand it.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Very sad indeed to step into the Prime Media building, a building where he stepped into many a time before to go and present his show on 702. So diligently, intellectually, with the capacity to argue with the greatest amount of respect for the listeners. And I'm chatting about the very tragic news that has befallen South Africans, the sad passing away of political analyst Eusebius, who this afternoon, Jackie Strader, his manager, said, and I quote, "Unfortunately, I can confirm that it is true. He died earlier this afternoon in Johannesburg, only 45 years. And can you imagine if we still would be able to tap into that brain for the next 45 years? 45 is extremely young. And for a person dedicated to his craft, was able to get people either angry or thinking about something, allowing things to sink in, fought for the causes that he did, and he fought very openly about them. As a broadcaster, I am saddened today, thinking of the family, the friends, the colleagues, and everybody who would have learned so much from this highly respected individual. And I think all of us here on 947, all of us here on Marawa Sports Worldwide, we say hamba kahle, qawe. May his soul rest in peace.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Lawrence Kaulezia, Itiski Times journalist. He's been following every single thing. I even worry about him. I think he even follows grasshoppers on the field just to check if they are safely going to have a good night's sleep.
We always say it's a game of opinions, but I think there's no such thing as, bad publicity.
With COVID, things were being done virtually. COVID's long gone. But then come the night where you think it's the Oscar Awards for players, for referees, for coaches, and then you have virtual awards.
It is a little bit bizarre. This is content for us. This is money for us. This is our industry as well. Hopefully next year.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, Monday to Friday weekdays.
Interactive as we always are. 947 is the base. We also live on Rise FM. We're live on Vuma FM, Sowetan Live. And of course, wherever you are, around the country, the continent, on the world, the YouTube channel /947 Joburg. We have access as well on DSTV, on the DSTV channel 879. So there is no excuse. You're all part of the movement. You're all the shareholders of this show. And now, one thing that's always remained so consistently true about this man over the years is his never say die attitude. I mean, he's been mocked, he's been humiliated at times, rejected over and over again in the past, but he's always gotten up, dusted himself, tackled the next challenge with an amount of grace that we hardly ever see from coaches. Well, I suppose on both occasions, if you cast your mind back to his stint at Swallows as well as Amazulu, he was sacked ahead of the second leg as well of the MTN 8 semi-final. And guess what? He's now a runner-up. Not semi-final, but a runner-up in the Nedbank Cup. A massive one as well for not only his club, Sekhukhune United, but also for himself as Brandon Truter. I'll tell you why. I think many have always embraced Coach Brakkies whenever he was sort of handed the short end of the stick in his previous two jobs. First, he guided the Birds to the DSTV Premiership, and then Swallows had been absent from South Africa's top flight for 5 years by winning the National First Division. So those, in my mind's eye, those are achievements that he could be very proud of. But at times we wonder what club bosses are proud of. And in his very first taste of the big league, Swallows finished in 6th place in the 2020-2021 season and got fired soon after that. Boom! He was replaced by the fellow Cape Townian and also legendary Bafana Bafana star Benny McCarthy at Amazulu. Usutu were in the trenches, man. Fighting for survival. He rescued the side, rescued a 7th place finish. The owners rightly handed him a 3-year contract. Do you think he survived those 3 years? No. Looking at his expression, he's like, no, I didn't. He was relieved of his duties 5 months later. Unbelievable. But guess what? He was brought into Babina Noko after they registered 5 defeats, 5 draws and 2 wins in 12 games. And under his tutelage, Sekhukhune have a win ratio of 63.16%. And I think if you're judging according to South Africa's matric results expectations, he is way ahead. I think he's getting A's. But we don't want to liken him to matric results now, do we? And that's just from 22 games, 12 wins, 5 draws, 5 defeats, as well as their first top flight cup. Oh, in a cup final. I mean, it's been a remarkable season. Even remarkable human being that he is. Let's review the campaign with Coach Brandon Truter, who is live with us in studio. I hope I haven't uttered a single word of lies in that. I try to summarize as much as one could your journey so far. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Rob. Always a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I think there was one mistake in that. The 3-year contract, no. I've never been given a 3-year contract in my coaching career.
You know what? We get told these things. So I'm glad that you come through and say, no, it never happened. What were you given at Amazulu?
Remember the first, when I took over from Bini?
Yes.
There was 8 games left and I was interim coach. And that came along with the 2-year option. So if they didn't like what they saw in that 8 games, of course they wouldn't have activated the option. So it was only a 2-year contract.
Sure. So why do you think they didn't activate the option?
No. They took up the option.
No, but I'm saying longer because obviously you were tripped up midstream.
There's only a few coaches in PSL with long-term contracts. I think that's Tinkler, Ant, and Romain Volts. With the exception of Rulani, his contract's coming to an end. I'm sure we'll get a long term. But the rest of us, we 1 season, 2 seasons. That's us.
You hobble along.
Yeah.
But Romain Volts, though, and it's strange, though, because he went into where you were before. But we didn't see him on the bench towards the end of the season. So he has a 3-year contract, but then they give him a different role. I mean, isn't that a bit strange?
I'm not sure. I think he got shifted to technical director.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's internal decision that I'm not really privy to. So yeah, don't want to comment too much on it.
Where does it leave you though, in terms of next season? Because I can't imagine that Sekhukhune would have achieved what they achieved. You would have given them the kind of win ratio that I've just pointed out. And over 60% if it wasn't for your contribution. I mean, when do you start to talk long-term contract?
I'm not too sure. I still have a 1-year contract this season coming up with Sekhukhune, and hopefully I'll get engaged for a longer duration. But as it stands, there's only a 1-season contract. That 1 season left on my contract.
Yeah, and I think we all know, the world knows that coaches globally, when it gets to within a year to go of their contract, that's when negotiations really begin for a longer term contract. Wouldn't you want now, because you were not given or afforded an opportunity of preseason? Your preseason was a strange one because it was a December preseason during a World Cup, because that's when you stepped into Sekhukhune. So wouldn't you want to go into a break now, knowing that when you come back for your proper preseason, that hey, at least Brandon Truter has got something long term?
Yeah, I would. I think any coach as well, because of wanting to build something in terms of philosophy, playing style, culture, at the club as well. Once it's short term, you tend to. It's based on the results basically, but at the same time you overthink things because you lose 1 or 2 and. In South African football, you lose 1 or 2 in a row, and the third one could be a last game. So your back's against the wall, and normally when your back is against the wall, you think to overthink, make rational decisions, think about the result, change your philosophy in terms of playing style, wanting to be direct, look for other avenues as well. But like I said, your principles goes out the window once it's 1 season. Look, I've to be honest, the owner, Sekhukhune, to have a long-term vision in terms of when he wants to challenge for certain things. The league, 3 years, when he wants to go into Africa. So he has a plan. So yeah, I take my hat off for him in that regard.
Congratulations. I haven't even said that. You need to be congratulated because you had a difficult route into the final. Yes, you didn't win the cup. That deserves congratulations. Multiplied with that is a top 8 finish. Quadrupled in that is a CAF Confed Cup spot. So I know you got very strong shoulders, Mr. Truter. I think you're going to need to gym even harder to be able to get stronger shoulders to bear the weight of that. But firstly, just on those, congratulations.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, it's been tough, but it would also be unfair for me to take all the credit. What I found at Sekhukhune is a good technical team. I found a young team, but also very gifted in terms of the field of expertise. The sports science department, the analysis department was mind-blowing. I think the person working there, Tanas, is one of the best that I've come across in South Africa. You have the medical team as well. The coaches, we brought on board Morgan Gold as well. And that also points to our goals conceded since my term as well. So everybody played its part. The goalkeeper coaches as well has been absolutely fantastic with gathering Badra Sangari to perform like that in the last 3 games. He's been flying. So credit must go to everybody.
I know you usually like to spread the love to everybody, but as much as you call the head coach, your head is always on the block. When things don't go right, your head is facing the chop, and you are the one that is fired. So clearly the technical directive, despite a strong technical team, needs to be steered by somebody. You've brought that in. What would you attribute that to? Because sometimes when you go to very prominent teams, and Amazulu is a prominent team because it's been there for years. It's one of the oldest teams that's been there. Swallows as an institution, maybe not a Swallows FC, but the Morocco Swallows brand has been there equally for the longest time. The original Soweto derby was between Pirates and Swallows and not Pirates and Chiefs. So when you look at all of those factors, and then Sekhukhune comes into play, yes, ambitious coach, but they come with a different pressure. Do you say that that's a pressure that works for you, where you're not always in that spotlight of expectation?
Yeah, the pressure is one thing. I think first and foremost, what I found that what I look for at every club as well is control as much as you can.
Yeah.
And wanting to control as much as you can, that's within the field in terms of the players. First and foremost, I think that's where we have to tap in. Once there's a bunch of players that's coachable, that's adaptable, that also have the same vision as the head coach, and then of course winning them over mentally. What we can still achieve, setting targets, is like that. I think the coaching is the easiest part. I'm not one to force my type of football on players. I think the players guide my type of football that I want to play, and that's what I found at Sekhukhune. Luckily enough, we found the right combinations quickly. I think the World Cup break did us very well in terms of me having the time. I think Sekhukhune reported back then earlier than anybody in the league. So even I was surprised because I got the job in early November and the guys were back already. So had to find solutions quickly. But in terms of the research done, in terms of the solutions, because they were at 15 position at that time. So goals conceded was always the first point of reference, and we had to work on that. And then obviously they scored. They beat Pirates away. There was some games, I think all the games they almost scored in 1 goal per game. So that wasn't the problem. Finding that solutions and coming up with the plan that was there, and then implementing it together with my technical team, that was key as well.
You got plenty as well, believe it or not. I mean, you've just kind of hardly sat down and the voice notes have flooded our studio. So we'll come back with a couple of those voice notes. We'll take your calls as well. 011-883-8947. 011-883-8947. Coach Brandon Truter is my guest.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW.
The Van Heerdens are strapped in for their road trip to the coast.
Mommy.
But they have no Wi-Fi.
Stop I'm tired.
That means no TikTok, no YouTube, and no way to distract the triplets.
Are we there yet? Mommy.
Move, share, and connect wherever with the new MTN mobile internet plans. Share data with up to 5 people with 15 gigs anytime data for $149 on a month-to-month contract. Visit an MTN store or mtn.co.za today. T's and C's apply. Doing goes where you go. MTN.
What do you consider amazing? At Lexus, we believe it's bringing the future a little bit closer to today. That's why the next generation Lexus NX has the Lexus Safety System Plus that protects people inside and out. A driver-focused cockpit with a 14-inch touchscreen. And Hey Lexus, a virtual assistant that reacts intuitively to you. The next generation Lexus NX. Next is now. Lexus. Experience amazing.
Save at Food Lovers Market with Big Deal Wednesday. Buy 3 creamy avocados for 25 Rand and get 2 400-gram punnets of Romanita cocktail tomatoes absolutely free. That's 3 avocados for 25 Rand and 2 Romanita cocktail tomato punnets free. And enjoy delicious beef shin for just $79.99 per kilo. Valid this Wednesday only at all inland Food Lovers Market stores. The best in fresh, guaranteed.
Shopus at Buffet 2, sign up for Impact Run, 5, 10 or 21 kilometers today. You could win 1 of 4 trips to Ibiza, Spain. 5th August, DP World Wanderers Stadium. Register at impactrun.net. T's and C's apply.
The Masked Singer South Africa is here. Join me in pop-ups and the panel of detectives Jay Something, Somizi, Sitelo Shozi and Skumba as we try and guess which celebrities are hiding behind the masks. 16 of your favorite celebrities will be doing everything in their power to hide their identities. The Masked Singer South Africa starts Saturday the 3rd of June on SABC3 at 6:30 p.m. with a rebroadcast on SABC1 at 8 p.m. as well as Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. in association with Endolex.
Oh, can I, skip the, with KFC Q Skip. Order and pay online to get in and get out. No queue when you collect. Only on the KFC app.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Happy people!
Swallow reaches for the ball. Now I'm seeing it in a different light now. Yep. Sangadia stares him down.
Mr. Monyane, as well as Tapelo Foki, are my guests here in studio tonight. You were listening to that clip of the commentary and they were saying, they have induced the penalty. What did Polani say in the dressing room? You know Polani, Timbigosi Lodge.
I like the high IQ in the guy. The intelligence of trying something like that. In that moment, it tells you a lot about Lodge. And streetwise, very smart, very clever.
He's gonna use his hands to do something.
Swallow reaches for the ball. Now I'm seeing it in a different light now. Yep. Sangadia stares him down.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, Monday to Friday weekdays.
Coach Brandon Truter is my guest. It is Marawa Sports Worldwide, and we see you live on YouTube. Thank you so much. Hey, send us through all of those comments. You'll be watching, you'll be commenting at the same time. I see as well a whole flood of calls are coming through. Let me remind you of that number. It is 011-883-8947. For a moment, I actually thought Coach Brandon Truter was, Steve Kompela, because there was something he said. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. Says, I'm sure there'll be more finals with the progression in the team. But other than that, you wake up in the morning with expectations, and the day will end with experiences. Sure, you were feeling very Shakespearean there, Coach, eh? But I think very profound either.
Yeah, I had to calm myself down for the players, of course.
Yeah.
And really think about the situation. Coming into a press conference and thinking about some comments I made a few weeks back as well. And my manager sat me down, even at the club, the media department as well. Coach, let's think about, let's calm down before you go into press conferences. So, yeah.
So you had to be calm after this final?
Yeah.
Because I could see, I mean, your body language, you were not a happy man going down the tunnel.
Yeah, no, of course. My players as well. But we turned it around. We turned it around in using that moment before halftime and to fuel our fire going into the second half. And we used that. Start of the second half, we created a bit of chaos in our press, and we pressed them very aggressively and gave us a bit of a boost. Yeah, but once it died down, game became even, and it could go anywhere. Yeah.
Can I ask an honest, innocent question?
Depends.
Just needs a yes or no.
Okay.
Was it a penalty?
Whatever answer I give you, a lot of people is gonna think I'm better, or I'm just being diplomatic. But look, like I said, we'll take the experience. Some were given, some wasn't given.
So if you're watching Southampton versus Stoke City, and that was the situation, was it a penalty?
VAR would have a look there. Unfortunately, we don't have it in South Africa. But like I said now, I think there was a show 2 weeks back. And that issue was addressed. The exact same thing. I think Semi Siamba was involved, and there was one early in the season also with Kabadinho Mohango in the MTN8. So yeah, sometimes it gets given, sometimes it doesn't. But there's no. I would just say common sense would prevail in that moments, because there's no laws at times. Unsporting behavior, it's a cautionable offence based on the referee's opinion at that moment. So for me to say anything now,
just a yes or no.
I've licked my wounds. I put the mat to bed, and I would like to move on from it.
Yes or no? Never mind the fact that you coach the team, just from what you see.
Based on my reaction?
Yeah.
Based on my reaction, no.
No.
Based on my reaction.
Okay. Andrew, we're coming to you now from Roodepoort. Let's go to Brakpan. Is it Joel? Joel, good evening.
Good evening to you, Robert.
Yeah, you want to ask about the inspiration to the coach?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, to the coach, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, congratulations, the coach, for the great job that he has done at Sekhukhune. He has brought confidence and belief in the players themselves. And I really wish him all the best, so that in the next season or even 2 to 3 years, if he's going to still be at Sekhukhune, I think it's going to be one of the greatest teams to watch, because the brand of football that they are playing is very, very nice and admirable, and I like it.
Thank you so much.
Joel, thank you so much indeed. I mean, I'll give you a chance to respond to Joel in a while, because as a coach, when you take that as motivation, somebody who's observing your style of play, who's liking and seeing what you're doing, it means there is an identity that he can see in the team. But let me take Andrew first. Andrew, good evening, calling us in Roodepoort.
Hey, Rob. Hi, Coach.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Coach, I must say that, this season you're amazing. I mean, for firstly taking Amazulu to the MTN8 final, we should not forget that. And coming into Sekhukhune and, finding them doing very bad and give them a very respectable position. But I think we cannot forget that on Saturday, you actually dominated Pirates. I think a lot of us were expecting that you were going to come up with a low block and just absorb pressure. But actually, you took the game to Orlando Pirates. And in my humble opinion, I believe that that's a game that you should have won. and we know what happened. But I just want to say that you are one of the young South African coach that we are expecting a lot from, and so far so good, sir. And I want to wish you personally from my heart that all of the best, because you are a wonderful coach, and I believe in your philosophy, and I think there's more to come from you.
I'm humble. Thank you very much,
Andrew. Always appreciate your contribution, but thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.
I mean, those are two views you would not expect from people who've observed Sekhukhune. They come forward not only because you were in the final, but like I said, I think there's a certain DNA that they can see. How do you respond to both Joel as well as Andrew?
Thank you for noticing and picking up these points. It means a lot to me. In terms of people not really paying attention or giving the analysis the gentleman just mentioned now. Even setting up with the low block, I think everybody was expecting that. But what people don't know, the league game against Pirates, we had to manage injuries, we had to manage suspensions, we had to a lot of fatigue also in the team. And the only solution was to come up with a low block and get him on a counter. That was the league game. And people thought, I think the country thought that that's what Sekhukhune is about, counter-attacking football, sitting deep and hoping to catch you on a counter. Whole season we've been playing like that, and nobody has said anything. With the first league game also, the Pirate staff also said, "Coach, this is not you. We didn't expect it." So, because of the analysis on the league program, and then coming into the final as well, it was a guessing game for them. Are we going to sit low? Are we going to go high? And with the amount of time they had to prepare for both scenarios, I think it was a bit too little, and they. From the front foot, they couldn't cope with it because I think everybody thought we're going to sit with the low block. But that's the identity we have. I think all my teams has played that type of football with inverted fullbacks and Swallows days. It has its reasons why. Tactically, I think and structurally we are more secure in that with our counter pressing game as well. But I'm just happy that in that short space of time during the World Cup break, we managed to get it right, and the players adapted very quickly, and that's why I give a lot of credit to the boys in terms of the tactical acumen, adaptability. It's not easy going from a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2, then into a 4-3-3, and playing that systems in such a short space of time. A lot of credit to the boys as well, especially the senior guys. You have to get the buy-in. They played a certain brand of football at the beginning of the season, which didn't suit him. No disrespect to Keitano, he's a close friend. We speak every day, almost every day. But we're very close. No disrespect there, but it was the type of football that didn't suit the squad. It was there, you understand. But what Keitano has is his identity and how he wants to play football as well. So. The senior squad helped me in that, and I have to mention Kadoso, Idikima, Verlau came in. There's other senior guys as well. Kamo joined us late as well. So, given Masekenia, absolutely amazing guys. Claude Lolapile as well. I have to mention him. Have been absolutely marvelous. And once you would work in a group like that, your job just becomes easier.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad you mentioned the Pirates 1-1 draw game, because that one, you got the point you needed. They got the dominance that they wanted, which they did. And the dominance figures in that game were crazy, because Pirates are like on 72%, you were on 28%. It's almost like you look at the balance of scales, it's like that. But in a league game, all that matters is a point away to a very determined, very dogged Orlando Pirates, and I thought that was a masterstroke.
MSW, Marawa Sports Worldwide. Thank you so much, Mr. Marawa, for a great show. Congratulations to the coach there, Brandon Truter. Actually, what a milestone. Actually, they did wonders in this league. I mean, finishing in the top 8, finishing on the 7th, booking a spot for themselves to play in the MTN 8. Because I see that they will be playing Orlando Pirates again in the MTN 8 next season. Will that game be a revenge, or they will take it as a new season? I mean, Secondly, congratulations to them for qualifying for the Confederations Cup. But a quick question to the coach as well is this. We have seen in the few past years that the teams that goes from South Africa, from the DSTV, the teams that goes and represent South Africa in the Confederations Cup, usually those teams, they suffer relegations most of the times. For instance, have a look in Marumo Gallants. Previously, I think we had Platinum Stars. They were doing wonders in the African continent, but they were relegated actually in the DSTV Premiership. So my question to the coach is, what do these few teams that I mentioned, or these teams that do struggle when they're doing wonders in the Confederations and struggle here locally, what are they doing wrong? And secondly, how will coach prevent those kind of things happening with Sekhukhune United? That's my question, Marawa. Thank you so much, Marawa. Jonathan Josta in Cape Town. Thank you.
Jonathan, thank you so much indeed. I've made a note of your comment.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening to your shareholders. Good evening to the man in the studio, Brandon Truter. He's done very well in Sekhukhune with the limited resources. I think they're going to grant him a proper contract now. Thank you, man. I wish him all the best in his next season, as he's going to be facing the African giants there in the Confederations Cup. Thank you, man.
Yeah, we'll tackle that in a second.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Kuluma nasibongeleni nokamkhwana. And good evening to the coach, Baba, Brandon. But Pragis Truter, Mr. Marawa, I was very sad to see that man leaving our beloved Lesotho team. But in football, such things do happen, Mr. Marawa. And most of the people need to be careful of that man, Mr. Marawa. At Amazulu, he led the team to the semi-finals of the MTN 8. And then he went to Babina Noko. They were playing a final here Nedbank Cup on the weekend. Mark my words, Mr. Marawa. I think that man next season will have a gold medal. I won't say which trophy, but good things are coming to that man. I wish him all the best in future. I wish one day we can know what made him to leave our beloved Lesotho Mapeshankone. Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show.
You should see his expression.
Goeienaand Robert Marawa en coach Braak is daar bij de studio. Mijn naam is Elfas Ngobo. Ik is hier bij de province van KwaZulu-Natal. You know, coach Braak is my broer. You've grown leaps and bounds since your days at Swallows FC and Amazulu. You know, you've proven to be an astute coach and a very shrewd tactician. You know, judging by the results. You know, all and sundry under the shade of the sun has got his own ambitions about life. So I would like to know, man, as a coach, where do you see yourself in 5 years to come? Are there any ambitions to coach outside of South Africa and follow in the footsteps of Peter Musimane? Those things, Robert Marawa and Coach Prakis.
Yeah, Alphas, thank you so much indeed. As we head to the break, maybe let me deal with Alphas's question. Ambitions of coaching outside of the borders of South Africa.
Of course, I think every coach starts out wanting to coach at the highest level. Of course, then this the Bafana and then outside as well.
Yeah.
I think I would like to follow in the footsteps of Putso. He's flying the South African flag high. We saw what he can do outside of the borders, but with that as well, flying that flag. It shows also what we as South African coaches are capable of. There's only so many. I don't think there's any coach that can live up to. I think Hanti can.
Yeah.
Kevin Hunt can challenge there, but what Coach Putso has done outside the borders, it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, you would want to be there, want to go that route as well, especially countries like Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, and that's the place you want to go. And of course, there's other teams like Samba as well, Tanzania.
Yeah.
So, there's only a few teams, a few so-called big teams in South Africa, and teams is also leaning to a lot on foreigners in the country as well, especially where the big teams is concerned, and the local coaches don't get so much opportunities. What's happening at Sundowns as well? It's a process. It's a dynasty that they have built over the years, starting with Putso, and I can remember even with Putso in his first season or two. they wanted him out. I think they almost burned down Moses Mabhida.
Yeah, President Motsepe to come in and intervene and call for calm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think at times us as local coaches get given enough recognition. Definitely the ambitions is there.
Because I'm looking at the top 8 table. I'm only seeing one foreign coach in that top 8 who coached South Africa. So we'll come back, we'll pick up on that point, because I think that lined up with what people were saying about Moromo Gallants, their success in CAF versus their relegation domestically.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.
Business is so much more than a 9 to 5. It's all the blood, sweat and tears you put into building your dream. That dream wasn't built in a day, but it was built with a Bucky. Not just any Bucky, a tech-savvy Bucky with toughness built into its DNA and a tailgate that transforms into a workbench. Put your best Bucky forward every day in the next-gen Ford Ranger single and supercab. Unlimit your world. Visit Ford.co.za to find out more.
Benny's been waiting for his next passenger, but while there's a break in play, it's time to check on his multi-bet, needing just one more result for an incredible win.
Utata! How does Benny even handle the pressure?
It's been a smooth ride so far, but what's this?
Goal! Is this the end of his multi-bet?
The final whistle's blown, but there's still gas left in the tank. With money back boost, he'll at least get all the cash he put down back. Another great offer from Betway.
Wati moto, wati farara. Apay labantu.
T's and C's apply. Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
It's the longest night of the year. You woke up late because your phone didn't charge. You're making lunch boxes with a headlamp. Wait, is the geyser still warm enough to make tea? June's dramatic enough, so we're removing fees. Pay no fees for 6 months on any new 10x retirement investments started in June. No fees, no drama, just results. Speak to a retirement expert today. 10x your future. 10x is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
Hi, I'm the MD of Metro Lifestyle, the fabric and home store. I have stores in Centurion, Montana, Northgate, and Boksburg. I have decided to relocate our Boksburg store. Millions of rands of goods, fabrics, curtaining, lighting, furniture, linen, carpets, and appliances are being sold well below cost. This grab-and-go sale is available at all stores while stocks last. Come and redo your home at a fraction of the price. Visit us at www.metrolifestyle.co.za or call 08611 Metro. That's 08611 63876.
947.
We bring you great hits and exciting entertainment.
And our presenters enjoy doing it.
But we also have to follow the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct.
In order to give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news.
If for some reason you feel that we're not following this code,
we want to know about it.
So please contact us on comments@947.co.za.
If you're still not satisfied, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission.
P.O. Box 412365, Craig Hall, 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Happy people!
Time's up! They've done it for the first time in almost 10 years.
Kabulabi Somonyane, as well as Tapelo Foki, are my guests here in studio tonight. Tabza, good to see you, man.
All protocol observed.
Hey. Media training 101. All right, to the minister, the grandmother, everybody else. Yeah, you're a champion, though.
Well, the feeling was just electric. Rob. It's my first Nedbank Cup trophy.
You had an amazing game against Amazulu. You won man of the match against Amazulu, which would have, again, cemented something in the coach's mind to say, who do I go for?
Me getting that opportunity when the coach gave me, I told myself I need to grab it with both hands and run away with it.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, Monday to Friday weekdays,
Good evening, Tarop. It's Mishini from Pretoria. Good evening to Coach Truter there and also the shoulders. My one is basically that I'm a Pakani, and I know he wasn't pleased with the result. He would have wanted the result to be on his side, but unfortunately not. It wasn't his day on Saturday. But yeah, I was sold by his humility that regardless of what happened in the match, some people saying it was a penalty or not penalty, but when he was asked a question, he didn't dim the light on the success that Orlando Pirates had achieved. So yeah, man, has one humble coach that I know and may keep it that way, and all of the best on the next season. Yeah, it's Mshini again from Pretoria.
Shinwam from Pretoria. Thank you so much indeed for that comment, saying that what a humble coach. And I think just looking at all the comments as well coming through from the YouTube channel, a lot of people would go along with the Mshini's views on Coach Brakkies. So I'm just trying to find them. They just keep updating so quickly. But thanks. I do recognize you. I do see you on YouTube. Thank you so much, man. Kagiso Mohapi says Coach Truter has done well, and I've got a lot of time for him. Simply based on his understanding of the game and also the players, regardless of seniority and ego. Thank you very much, Coach. Willie says you've got a coach. Says what a coach you have there. All the best. Sorry, man, these messages keep updating so quickly. Messes up with your flow, but I get it. Sibonelo Mdolo says this is my second favorite coach in South Africa after my homeboy Manqoba Mngqithi. I wish him nothing but the best come next season. Ekoneni Show says, Robin the Gang, please ask Coach Brandon if he would ever join Swallows FC and why was he kicked out, because the team was not bad at all. Yeah, I've been getting so many of these. Are you waiting to write a book to tell us why you left Amazulu and how, and why you left Swallows and why? How do you handle the scope of those questions?
Yeah, it's a bit difficult at times. Because you feel as if you have unfinished business.
Yeah.
What was Boldy from where we come from at Swallows, we I would have liked to have taken the club as well. Yes, the results plays a big part, and I do understand that in the industry, but Rome wasn't built in one day. So yeah, I think that's what's missing at the moment. I still have the utmost respect and still have relationships with the chairman, Mr. David, and also the president, Mr. Panyaza, premier. So there's no bridges that was burned down there. So, and in football also you can't say I will never go back or anything like that. So yeah. How I handle it at times, I would just sit back and reflect. And also what I could have done better. It's always about growth. It's always about looking back. It's about researching where can I improve as well. So yeah, I think that's what football is about, the growth.
I'm going to try and squeeze in as many of these questions as I can. We heard Sibongeleni on his voice note. He was just basically saying that he was sad to see you leave Amazulu, but he guaranteed you one thing. He says you will have a gold medal by next season. Says whatever it is, you're going to get that. The earlier one from Jonathan, he was talking about will it be revenge in the MTN 8 next season, but most importantly for me is the Confed Cup, the struggles of Marumo Gallants versus their successes within the CAF Cup Confederation. So you find yourself in a similar situation, no, not in terms of relegation. You all start on a clean slate, but you've got that added burden of being part of a prestigious tournament, but also which wants you to travel into the continent.
Yeah, I think first and foremost it speaks to our squad. Except for the Confed Cup, there's also more competitions added to the PSL after the Black Label Knockout Cup. So there's 5 trophies that Sekhukhune is playing for next season. So it speaks to our squad in terms of the depth, in terms of the quality as well. And I think that should be addressed first in terms of, if you look at Marumo Gallants as well. They played the Wednesday and then they had the final game on the Saturday, it's basically the same lineup that played. I would have had to sacrifice one, because what was more important at that stage, and it's about picking your battles, like you said earlier with the Pirates game as well. In the league, it's different. We need a point. Let's go for a point, and we got it. And now we have the cup final. Let's go all out again. And like I said, manage suspensions as well. We had to risk Vusinube. We had to rest Moby. Eddie Gema as well was going into that games with a lot of fatigue. So it's about analyzing and seeing, picking your battles correctly. But playing in Africa, it has its challenges. The squad as well. You can't go play on five different fronts and have a 10 squad. So, but I would like to add some quality and depth to the squad. Especially going into next season. It's going to be tough. Next season also, African Nations Cup, dead center. And then there's also a Chan tournament that you have to plan for. So our pre-season, planning has started 2 weeks ago. We started targeting some players as well during the course of the league. And hopefully we'll get it right in the transfer market.
And hopefully get some rest. I know you got a couple of lone players in the squad as well. Let me go to Cape Town. Idris is there. Idris, good evening.
Good evening, Robert.
Welcome. Coach is here.
Thank you. I just want to say to Coach Brandon Truter, man, I think the whole of Cape Town... But,
Idris Burton. Sounds like Idris Burton, eh? Is that Edie? He says Idris here, but it's Idris Burton.
The lady, your lady asked me if it was Idris Alba. I said I wish.
You could do a few acting roles, but you know what? One of our legends, Idris Burton. Good to have you on the line, man.
Thanks, Robert. Yeah, but it's about Brandon tonight, man. So I just want to say, you know what? I especially where he's come from and what he has achieved thus far. I'm super proud, and I think the whole of Cape Town is extremely proud of him. And I think I personally knew that he had the drive in him to really want to achieve higher things, always. And I knew that. So just from me, from another football-loving fan to a special coach, just well done. And I'm sure he's got lots more things to achieve.
Sure. Thank you. Your response, Coach?
Idris Burton has been a mentor to me. As a player, I looked up to him as well. Coming from the youth into the first team, finding him there. Following him at Cape Town Spurs as well, and when he moved to Amazulu, so he's been one of my role models. Lived a clean life as well, on and off the pitch. So when we found each other together at Santos, he was the drive, he was the motivator. So lots of respect to him as well. We actually spoke during last week as well, and he encouraged me and motivated me. And I'm hoping now when I return to Cape Town, I will pay him a visit.
Yeah. So Idris, keep a nice cold bottle of water for the coaches. Okay. Thanks so much, legend.
All the best. Thank you, man.
Appreciate your call, man. Yeah, great. I mean, it's great to hear this kind of interaction from somebody who's played such an integral role in South African football. Sibusiso is down in Durban. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, you know what? I feel blessed at times when I'm surrounded by people that have the ability to break down football in as much as a Coach Brakkies is able to.
No, definitely. And I think you are surrounded. We are in the presence of greatness. How are you, Coach?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good, Coach. Coach, I just wanted to ask the human aspect of your job. Coach, you've in the past 2 seasons, you've moved up so much. Surely this gotta affect your family. Like, what effects does it have on your family? Because I imagine moving from Amazulu, that's in KZN, we are now in Sekhukhune, this is in Gauteng, so like those type of things.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks so much. The line is breaking, so I'll ask you to listen on the radio.
Yeah, the family life does suffer. At Swallows, because it was 1 season in the NFD and then getting promoted and then being handed a 2-year contract, we actually relocated the family up to Joburg. and then of course getting canned, and then having to move back to Cape Town, having to relocate again, and then moving the kids to school, and then the Durban. In KZN, when we had to move there, my wife was with me, and she got sick in Durban as well, and then getting fired, and then having to relocate again. So it does take its toll there, and then also the work we put in, but people don't know. Analyzing matches, 2 to 3 matches, 3-4 matches. Analyzing data, players, thinking about training, analyzing, because at the same time also you are the head coach and you're supposed to know everything, and at the same time also have to interact with the different departments as well. So there's hardly any sleep. We go to sleep 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and when I walk around at home, the wives do get educated, let's say agitated, and she forced me to sleep after the final as well, because I couldn't. There's so much adrenaline left after a game that you can't fall asleep. So definitely your sleep, there's hardly any. The family life suffer, there's hardly interaction. You're away from your family. Sekhukhune as well, all our home games is away from home. We're playing in Polokwane, so you're hardly at home. It does takes its toll. It does have effect on the family life and the children growing up as well. So there's a lot of factors, and this break now is welcome. I'll see how much I can get out of it and spend as much time with the family as possible.
I've got to thank you. I've got to thank the family for allowing this, because you did say to me off air that you were heading to the airport. And you decided to change your travel plans to Cape Town. So I need to put that on record. I need to thank you for changing and adjusting your home travel to really factor in a visit to the studio. It does mean a lot to us.
Good evening, Robert, and then MSW family members. Look, man, you've got the coach there, man. Actually, this is Brian Makui, calling from Amakui. I once had a chat with Coach Brandon Truter when he was still in the nest, and then I told myself, oh no, man, this team as Swallows need this coach in a long run. I mean, we should give him actually a long contract, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be, and I believe he's still good, and he has proved that he is still a good coach since he left us. He has beaten us, I think, in all the games that we played against us. So he mustn't look down because of losing in the final. That was a proof again that he's a good coach. That's why he reached the final. I think he can build up from there.
Well, definitely can build up from there. Coach Brakkies, we're going to take our final moments with you. End of a season, a lot to reflect. Maybe leave us with your thoughts, maybe your excitement levels, and what do you hope to achieve after a well-deserved break?
Of course, the off-season is another period now to manage. As much as I say that I want to spend as much time at home and with the family as well, there's lots of work to do. I think this season as well, as much as everybody congratulate the team and for doing well, I think next season is an even bigger season with the amount of fronts Sekhukhune is going to challenge on. There's 5 trophies to play for us. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scene. Today's meeting as well, we didn't finish it. We have to get it absolutely spot on. At the same time, playing in Africa and seeing what happened to Marawa, have a status to protect, and at the same time as well, the supporters wants growth, wants a better position, with the ambitions of the club as well. Luckily, I have a chairman that's thinks logically, has a plan for the club as well, and hopefully that stays intact and it stays there, because I've been in cases where you overachieve and then people expect too much the next season, and I'm hoping that we don't fall into that category again. But for the football lovers as well, the supporters out there, I think what I want to say as well, back the local coaches a bit more. maybe people will forget about what I'm about to say when the league starts, because we won't have football for so long. But there's so many local coaches out there. I think at Chiefs it was always a building process, a rebuilding process. But everybody's gunning for art, and I will always back the local coach. And I don't think it's nice what's happening to him at the moment. There's others as well. Rulan has done fantastically well in his first season as a head coach alone. And yeah, that's where we should be going.
Support the local coaches. I think that is the hallmark, and that's where I'll come in and say, Brandon Truter, I thank you. As I said in the beginning, I congratulate you. I think there's a lot of successes you brought into the local game, and I think the responses and comments from the people shows you that you are much respected in South African football. Thank you so much, and have a good break, Coach.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure, Rob.
Appreciate it, Coach. Brandon Truter, my guest. Tomorrow, guess who is in the hot seat? Coach Jose Riviero, head coach at Orlando Pirates.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.